New York Day 2! Busters! You just turn and go in. They still have the dog.
Washington Square Park. This is where a lot of protests take place. So going way, way, way back to the 1600s. So when the immigrants came in after the British took over, most people settled downtown. And they were like tenements, they lived in squalor. But the people who had built nice homes down there, like in the 1700s, started to move up this direction.
Good morning, everybody. After we go see Washington Square Park and ride the subway, we go to SoHo, which has all these really cool buildings with like cast iron storefronts. And then we go to Chinatown, which is like awesome architecture. And then after Chinatown, we go to Little Italy, which has a Christmas shop, and that's really, really cool. And after that, we go to Times Square, and they have the Disney store. Oh.
Drag. Nice.
I know!
I think that's so stupid.
This is the best day of my life. I'm playing high mission.
Guys, picture.
And it's like the sky is new. So like an idiot, I didn't even record any more of the Disney store in this vlog. There's gonna be stuff later like in the week, but I got nothing for this one. But the first thing I saw when I got to the Disney store was this TVA jacket, like the one Loki wears in Loki, and I was immediately like, I gotta have it, so I got it. But after the Disney store, we spent a little bit more time at Times Square, and then we went and watched our first show, Moulin Rouge. So yeah, here we go.
So we're 110 through 113.
So Moulin Rouge, the first show we watched in Broadway, my first Broadway show that I've ever watched, was amazing. It was my favorite one that I watched the whole trip. Topping Beetlejuice, just because I watched Beetlejuice a lot of times before I went. It was amazing in the fact that the lighting was good, the music was good, the story was good. And I know that if I listened to the musical and like did research before I went, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much. But just right when you go in, you're just sucked into the show because it takes place at the Moulin Rouge in Paris. So like the theater that you go into is themed or is like decorated like that. And before the show, you have like people who come out and like do perform, the people who come out and perform. And the cast that we had for our show, I personally liked better than the original cast, because like I went back and watched the original cast and I liked ours better personally. And I want to go back and watch it again someday, hopefully, if I can save up the money to do so. So yeah, now back to New York, Will. So after Moulin Rouge, we went and ate dinner, and then it was time. It was time to go watch the show that I was most excited for. It was time to go watch Beetlejuice. I had a whole costume change for this. So yeah, here's Beetlejuice.
I hope so.
Are you Beetlejuice?
Yes.
Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice? Connor, Mr. Beetlejuice.
Mr. Beetlejuice.
Right here. Thank you. Enjoy the show.
It's showtime!
So, Beetlejuice is, of course, inspired off the Tim Burton movie of the same name, but it's vastly different. More modernized. Alex Brightman, I was so excited to finally see him on Broadway, because my story with this show, it's my all-time favorite musical of the 17 years that I have been on this planet, because in 2020, when the thing happened that stopped the world, I found this musical and it got me through that time, because it's just funny, comedy, amazing. Me and my friend who watched this before we went to New York, just made jokes the whole time, and like we were dying laughing. It's such a fun experience. And one thing that happened in like live on stage that I have not seen before is, once the Maitlands die, Beetlejuice explains the process, like part of his plan of how he's going to get them. And the first thing he has to do is get rid of the handbook for the recently deceased, which comes with every new death. But what happened was the handbook falls from the sky onto the stage, but the Maitlands fall through a hole in the stage floor. So this particular performance, handbook falls, hits the stage, keeps tumbling into the pit, where the Maitlands were. Well, where the Maitlands' bodies were, because they died. But it was just it just fell into the pit. And the character of Beetlejuice is like, breaks the fourth wall a lot, like all the time, the whole show. So without missing a beat, he's like "You think we don't have a plan for this?" And then he goes over to a bookshelf and just grabs another handbook for the recently deceased prop. But, you know, that's just something that I didn't like. Well, like, I expected that it could happen because stuff happens in a show, but, you know, it's just a little, like, there was a backup plan, and the fact that Beetlejuice could just break the fourth wall because that's his character and go get the other prop from the drawers was just so funny, and it made me die laughing, and it was a new laugh because I've never seen that in the show before. And it was just fun. Elizabeth Teeter, who is the new Lydia, because before we had Sophia and then Presley Ryan. Elizabeth Teeter did an amazing job, and I'm very happy of her performance. She was really good with her role of Lydia, and I would go watch it again. So yeah, overall, Beetlejuice, really fun experience. So beyond happy that I got to see it. After the show, I specifically was directed to the stage door because everyone was like, this is Will's favorite musical. This is the show that he was here to see. So I specifically was directed to the stage door, and I got to watch all of the principal cast besides Alex Brightman, who played Beetlejuice, and Leslie Kritzer, who plays Delia, walk out of the stage door, and that was just so cool. The next day, I looked at the story, the Instagram story of the Beetlejuice Broadway account, and there's this, and they like had Elizabeth Teeter's story talking about how she's sorry that, like, because of guidelines she couldn't stay and chat, but then specifically mentioned the Wednesday night stage door crowd, which was when I was there, which was really cool. So it was a lot of fun, and I'm so happy I finally got to see this show in person, because this was like the one show that I knew everything about and I really wanted to see because it's my all-time favorite musical. And then we went to McDonald's, and then we went to sleep. Good night.